The birth of Islam in the 7th century marks one of the most significant events in world history, shaping the cultural, political, and religious landscapes of vast regions. Islam, as a faith and a way of life, emerged in the Arabian Peninsula, catalyzed by the prophetic mission of Muhammad ibn Abdullah. This essay delves into the historical, social, and religious contexts that gave rise to Islam, the key events during its early years, and the profound impact it had on the Arabian Peninsula and beyond. In the 7th century, the Arabian Peninsula was a land of vast deserts, inhabited by various nomadic tribes. These tribes were primarily polytheistic, worshipping a pantheon of gods and spirits, with the Kaaba in Mecca serving as a central shrine. Mecca was not only a religious center but also a bustling trade hub, attracting merchants from diverse regions. The Arabian society was tribal and patriarchal, with social structure and kinship playing crucial roles. Blood feuds and alliances were common, and poetry and oral traditions held significant cultural value. The tribes were often in conflict, vying for control over scarce resources and trade routes. Muhammad ibn Abdullah was born in Mecca around 570 CE. Orphaned at a young age, he was raised by his grandfather and later by his uncle, Abu Talib. Muhammad grew up to be a respected merchant known for his honesty, earning the nickname Al-Amin, the Trustworthy. At the age of 25, he married Khadija, a wealthy widow who became his steadfast supporter. Around 610 CE, Muhammad began retreating to the cave of Hijra in the mountains surrounding Mecca for contemplation. It was during one of these retreats that he received his first revelation from the angel Gabriel. These revelations, believed to be the words of Allah God, continued for the next 23 years and were later compiled into the Quran, the holy book of Islam. Muhammad's message emphasized monotheism, social justice, and moral integrity. He called for the worship of one God, Allah, and denounced the prevalent idolatry and social inequalities. His teachings attracted a small group of followers, including his wife Khadija, his cousin Ali, and his close friend Abu Bakr. However, Muhammad's message was met with stiff resistance from the Quraysh, the dominant tribe in Mecca. The Quraysh were vested in the status quo, which benefited from the polytheistic traditions and the pilgrimage trade to the Kaaba. They viewed Muhammad's monotheistic teachings as a direct threat to their economic and social order. As a result, Muhammad and his followers faced persecution, social ostracism, and economic boycotts. The situation in Mecca became increasingly untenable for the early Muslims. In 622 CE, facing escalating hostility, Muhammad and his followers migrated to Yathrib, later known as Medina, in an event called the Hijra. This migration marked a turning point in Islamic history, and the Islamic calendar begins from this year. In Medina, Muhammad assumed the roles of both a spiritual and political leader. He established a multi-religious community based on a constitution that guaranteed rights and responsibilities to Muslims, Jews, and other inhabitants of the city. This community, known as the Ummah, laid the foundation for the Islamic State. Over the next decade, Islam began to spread rapidly across the Arabian Peninsula. Muhammad's leadership, strategic marriages, alliances, and military campaigns played crucial roles in this expansion. Pivotal Battle of Badr 624 CE, the Battle of Uhud 625 CE, and the Battle of the Trench 627 CE were key conflicts between the Muslims and the Quraysh, with varying outcomes but ultimately leading to the consolidation of Muslim power. In 630 CE, Muhammad and his followers peacefully conquered Mecca. Upon entering the city, he destroyed the idols in the Kaaba, rededicating it to the worship of Allah. This act symbolized the triumph of monotheism over polytheism in the Arabian Peninsula. Muhammad passed away in 632 CE, leaving behind a rapidly growing religious and political community. His death posed challenges for the nascent Islamic State, particularly concerning leadership succession. The first four caliphs, known as the Rashidun, rightly guided caliphs, continued Muhammad's legacy, expanding the Islamic empire and solidifying its foundations. Islam's birth and early expansion had profound and lasting impact. It unified the Arabian tribes under a single religious and political entity, fostering a sense of common identity and purpose. The teachings of Islam, codified in the Quran, and the hadith sayings and actions of Muhammad provided a comprehensive framework for governance, social justice, and personal conduct. The birth of Islam in the 7th century was a transformative event that reshaped the Arabian Peninsula and eventually the world. From its humble beginnings in Mecca, Islam grew into a major world religion, influencing diverse cultures and societies. The life and teachings of Muhammad, the early struggles and triumphs of the Muslim community, and the establishment of the Islamic State are central to understanding the genesis and enduring legacy of Islam.